Hi, welcome to Dance Brain, where we talk about the beauty of partner dancing. And today I'm here with Lee. Hello, Lee.
Hi,
Thanks for doing this.
of course. My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
So, Lee, tell us about how you first started dancing. Where did you first start?
So in order for me to talk about my dance journey, I think it's appropriate to talk about my movement journey. So as a child, I loved music. I loved moving. I think maybe part of it's because of my ADHD. But I would say that the first time I felt this excitement in my body while I'm doing a dance-like activity was when I started doing DDR, Dance Revolution. Yeah, so I got really into that when I was between the age of 8 to 12, I would say. And then when I moved to the States, I started practicing Capoeira, which is Afro-Brazilian martial arts. Did that for many, many years of my life. Not sure if you know anything about Capoeira.
Very little.
Very little, okay. So the culture of Capoeira is quite interesting because you do the martial arts, right? And it's a martial arts, a fight, dance, that has influence in, the Afro-Brazilian ritual. There's like samba in it. There's other kind of movements in it. There's music, there's singing, there's instruments being played while you're practicing. So it's a bit like all-encompassing for me of all the things I really love, rhythm, music, community, this almost like ritual-like feeling when you're practicing with other people to do a movement. So then I got really into that. And then from there, I was branching out to do all kinds of other movement-based practices. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, I decided to take a break from capoeira for many, many reasons. After the pandemic, I decided that I wanted to find something new to do, and I wanted to do partner dancing. So bachata was probably the easiest one to get into because it's huge in LA, very accessible. There are many, many teachers, many classes that I can join. So I did that for about 6 months, and then a friend of mine brought me to Legacy at the time on Tuesday. And that's when I saw Zouk. So I was intrigued. I saw Christina Montoya teaching with her mom. That was so cute. And, I was really liked the music. I got curious and started dancing Zouk. And I have not looked back since.
Wow, wow. So you've experienced dance as a game, a video game, dance as a martial arts, communal experience, a live event experience, and now dance as a partner dance experience. You've seen dance from different areas and facets.
I would say so. I don't see dance as separate from other movement practices. I see all things that require your body to move, especially when you move with others and when you move to music as one. Right, so that can take on many different forms. You can be doing solo dancing, ecstatic dancing, martial arts, so many other kind of sports. Even climbing, rock climbing, that's my newest passion. There's so many crossovers in terms of not only the way that you move, but also mindset, connection, trust. Yeah, so many topics that that have those crossovers.
And then when you're rock climbing, the DJ is Mother Earth.
Yes. I love that. And when the rocks are falling on you, that's like the nature acoustic.
The birds screaming at you,
Yes,
the squirrels
love
watching
that.
you, the wind. Mother Nature's the DJ. DJ Mother.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So when you first started dancing, you were doing DDR, so solo dancing. And then you transitioned, slowly to partner dancing. How did that go for you? How did dancing by yourself evolve to the desire to dance with somebody else in a partner?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I think that for me, movements, especially communal movements, have this. There is this quality of like you might be moving on your own, but you're never separate from others, right? That's such an that's very interesting, actually. Yeah, I spend so much of my time like thinking about connection to my body, connection to my partner, and seeing how they influence and inform each other. So I would say that when I was doing DDR, right, I did it with a group of friends. So like we were in middle school and like after school we would like go to the arcade and do that together. So in a sense, yes, I am dancing by myself, but there are always people around, either watching or I'm watching them, they're watching me. We're exchanging tips, we're exchanging our feelings, experience. So I don't really see any of that as like doing it by myself or solo dancing. It's always in the context of community. But there are differences, right? So when you are connecting, especially like one-on-one with another person, there's a level of attunement that you need to be aware of. There are boundary issues that you need to be aware of, taking into consideration. So it's a little bit more specific to that partner that you're with. So I would say that might be the biggest thing, right? Like you're always having to pay attention to another body, another soul that's moving in front of you. And also just being aware, like, okay, how am I using my body to connect with that person, right? So I would say we can go into this like so deeply all day long, but I would say that's like one of the things that stood out for me.
Yeah, so when you're dancing alone but with your friends, you're still dancing as part of the community. Your energy is being received and given by the people around you.
Yeah, I would also just want to mention that when I did capoeira, so the setup of when you can practice the movement alone, right, or in class, but really the essence of it is when you have a roda. It means circle, and you have the band, all the instruments, directing the flow and the energy of the circle, the roda. And then you have the rest of your community standing around, clapping and singing. And then you have the two players in the middle. So the concept of it is that you're building this container in this circle. And the energy that you get from the external energy that you get from the band and the people clapping and singing is what fuel your game, right? Your capoeira game. And then, so it's like this back and forth between you and your partner, and then the two of you with the community, the environment around you. And I feel that in partner dancing as well. I don't know if, like when you go to Congress or social and you feel this collective energy and it's like, it feels so alive and it's so different when you're just dancing at home in your room. Even when you're connecting with another person, it's so different when you are in that environment. So for me, it's that is the thing that like draws me so intensely into dance, because it's not something that you do by yourself. Like I am forced to like take myself out of my body a little bit, like take myself out of my mind a little bit, so that I can really feel that collective energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense a lot. Like the 3 different buckets of dance experiences you had, they've been games of different types, and they're all very similar in their own ways. They all have sets of rules, participation, community, but also feedback loops.
Yes.
And you get inspired by each other by receiving claps or applause or energy, and it's exciting because it's the same but different. And depending upon what you want to get out of that specific game, you can try to level up as you please or as you want to.
Yeah.
What keeps you in the game of Zouk, for example? Is it leveling up and getting the star points and beating the big boss, whatever that means in the dance equivalent, or what keeps you going?
I think my answer to that specific question has changed over time as I grow in this dance. But I would say it's all of it. Yeah, it's really the combination of all the elements, right, that you get when you join a community, when you join a practice. So yeah, I'm somebody who can really appreciate like all different perspectives of life, right? So I really like the competition part of it. I like the more connection-based part of it. I like the community part. I like the self-improvement part. You know, I feel like it makes all of these parts are what make this one thing very interesting, right? And I think the beauty of it is that it has a little bit of everything that can be offered. So, you know, like if you're into this one specific thing, you can do it and have fun. If you're into that other thing, then you can still have fun. Like you don't have to. I mean, you can pick and choose and be more selective, but I'm just someone who try to embrace all of it.
Yeah, I don't know why I like fixated on the game aspect, but like dance is like a video game. You can choose your adventure.
Yeah.
Choose to play this level or ignore this other level. Whatever your interest is, you can spend your time invested in that specific area. And there isn't necessarily a linear path you must take to win the game. Yeah. Because there is no end of the game.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly that. I think also, you know, considering that different people started dancing for different reasons, right? And it's cool because that reason can change over time. It's like exploring different sides of you and then making realization. So it's like there's endless option and you can choose your own adventure, like you said. So it's really cool.
So dance is the ultimate video game.
Yo, okay.
Just trying to be dramatic.
Yeah, drama. That's the thing that we need in dance, right? Drama.
Yeah. So you mentioned like the movement aspects of dancing. How did the music aspect hit you? What do you love about Zouk and the Zouk music that you listen to? How has that kept you in the game? Yeah,
I think I love music. I love all kinds of genre. And Zouk offers so many different kinds of music. You know, we can talk about the history of Zouk and Zouk music and how, you know, there's the root in lambada and then Zouk music itself. You still have that influence nowadays, but it's one of those dances that people are always trying to innovate and find ways to be creative. So now you have really anything can be Zouk too. One of the videos I love, and I love to share it to people that ask me like, what is Zouk, right? Is these two artists, Mark and Melissa, and they did a demo to a spoken word piece. So there's actually no melody. It's just somebody like reciting, you know, a poem. So there's something really beautiful about that. I feel like music is so subjective, right? Like, what is music? Like we have to explore that question. And when you get to dance this one specific style that offer ways to explore sounds in general, beyond like just your typical music structure, it makes it really interesting. It opens up like all kinds of possibility. How does sound inform your dancing and how does your dancing inform sound, right? So I feel I don't dance other dance styles, so I don't want to say like, oh, you don't get this experience in other dances, but just from what I've experienced in Zouk, I feel like there's a lot of versatility, variety of music, and I'm really drawn to that. Yeah, you can be like dancing to spoken word, or you can be dancing to like hard rock or hip hop or whatever it may be.
Yeah, the variety keeps things interesting. And you can dance to real world instruments that are a little more earthy, a little more ancient, but then it could be an EDM
Yes,
song.
yes. EDM is very, very popular in Zouk.
It could be a cover of something famous. It can be just words, instrumentation. It can be all instrumentation,
Yeah.
fast or slow. So the music, at least Zouk, allows for variety, and that keeps the dancers engaged and not necessarily feeling repetitive with the music.
Yeah, yeah. I was still thinking on like the sound part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've had, sometimes I have conversation with friends about. I had this one specific conversation about like, did sound precede movement versus the other way around? Because you see it in nature. You see birds singing, and they do like the little dances, right? So did we as humans evolve to imitate nature versus like did it come from within us and our creativity? It's just a fascinating topic to talk about, especially if you love dance and you love music. It's something that comes up.
Yeah, sound is probably, maybe music is the most primitive art form for all creatures, right? The rhythms of a heartbeat, the call of a bird song,
Yeah.
like when animals are crying, they can tell, like, oh, they're crying, even though we don't like a coyote's crying.
Yeah.
Let's be coyote.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a communication tool, right? It is very interesting because if you think about dance is communication. There are cultures that use dance. I mean, Capoeira is one of them to celebrate or to connect to like a higher being. So if you look into like the history of Capoeira, they talk about that. Like, it's a way for enslaved Africans in Brazil to be able to practice like their rituality, connect to their roots without being how do you say detected by the slave owners. So I think even nowadays we use dance as a way to communicate, right? Like, what is it that I want to say with this dance? Either through social dancing or a performance piece. Yeah, it's communication.
Yeah, because a lot of us day by day are more reliant on technology to communicate, right? Text, email, typing with using our fingers, and people aren't necessarily like the most well versed in communicating with words or with body language.
Yeah.
They don't even train body language.
Yeah.
So dance
so
allows
true.
people to explore that aspect of
Yes.
themselves.
Yeah, I took a workshop recently that was so beautiful. We talked about the emotional intelligence of dance, right? And there was a brand new dancer that was there. It was his first ever dance class. And we did this exercise where you have to pick up the emotion of your partner. And this person gave this reflection of like, oh, I don't even do this in like day-to-day practice. And it's so fascinating to be able to do it in dance. Like to read nonverbal cues from someone and tell how they're feeling or what they're going through in that moment. So I think it's just actually like dance is such a valuable self-improvement tool, I would say, right? Because you get to explore communication in like nonverbal cues. You get to notice like parts of you that are comfortable versus uncomfortable and and then it comes out in the way you move, right? So I think dance really helps us to develop like empathy as well.
Yeah, you get immediate feedback on what's happening and how your movement, your energy is affecting somebody else. And it's in a game or a container that hopefully is a safe container where other people are doing the same thing too. So you don't feel alone, like, oh, I'm the only one who can't communicate well.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
But everyone's trying, and everyone is trying to communicate with new and the same people every day.
Yeah.
And doing it together makes it more easy to do.
Yeah.
And let yourself be your true self.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a vulnerability to let your true self out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it takes some time to get there, right? Like, you're not gonna go to your first dance class and feel like, oh my God, here I am, like, take me, right? I mean, if you can do that, more power to you, that's amazing. But it is a practice, and you practice to get there, if that is your goal, because then, we can also talk about like the performative side of dance. And not to say that it's good or bad, but, recognizing like, okay, when am I expressing something that is vulnerable and true to me versus when am I putting on like a character, which is also like a powerful tool to be able to gain that empathy for like that other person that or that other character that you're putting on, right?
And you can perform, like literally perform in front of thousands, hundreds of people, but you can also perform for yourself, by yourself, also for the person in front of you. So the performances don't have to be grand when the spotlight's on you, everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
The audience can be as big or as small as you want it to be.
Yeah. That's why I like I said earlier, I love all these different aspects of it. Gives you different skills. I don't think any of it is good or bad, right? Competition is not good or bad. It's really just how you approach it and knowing your purpose, your intention when you decide to take on a project. That's really important.
What are some elements of a good partner dance and a partner dancer?
Man, I don't think there's an absolute answer to that. So I'll give you like my version of it, I guess. So it's so interesting because I've been, practicing movement for so long. So I think like my most natural mode is that I want to be technically skilled. I want my movement to be precise and technical and clear, right? That's always my goal. So when you are doing something new, obviously, if you go in with that mindset, it can be really frustrating because you are novice, you are a beginner, right? And having to accept that part can be difficult. My point being is that I think in the beginning of my dance journey, I was so focused on myself and how I'm moving and what I'm trying to relate to my partner, just being super, super, super aware, like hyper aware of like how I'm responding, because I started out as a follow as well. So I used to think like, oh, as a good follow, I must be so responsive, like there's no room for me to have my voice. And, I gotta like do this movement 100% correct all the time as I'm being told, right? So it can be quite taxing to go into a dance with that mindset. So over time, I learned that so many things I've learned over time with dancing, but yes, you gotta connect to yourself. You gotta understand your limitation, your ability, self-awareness, right? But you also gotta understand to be empathetic to yourself. Like give yourself a lot of space and let yourself be okay with mistakes, right? And then I would even go as far as like, don't see things as mistakes, because me as a follower, if I pick up a cue and express it the way that I hear it, it might not be a mistake on either of our parts. It is just the way that my brain processed the information at that time, and this is how I interpret it. And the more I'm concerned about fixing my mistake, the less my partner is going to be able to connect with me authentically. So I think like one ingredient for a good partner dance is really like have that conversation with your dance partner, let them know like, hey, this is how I understand you. If this is not what you were trying to say, can you say it again, right? Or just like focus on like the connection and safety, comfort is so important, and that means for both partners, for myself and for the other person. Personally, I'm super musical. Not that like I'm musical as in like the way I dance, but I just really like to play with music. I really like to dance with somebody who also listens to the music, because we are sharing this experience where we're like hearing the song at the same time. And it's really great when I can feel my partner obviously also listening to the song, right? Like, oh, how fun. Because sometimes there are dances where I think the connection between the two partners could be very strong, and they don't listen to the music. Nothing wrong with that, just not my preference. There's so many different things, but I would say like those two things, like having a conversation, connection to music, connection to yourself, connection to your partner.
I was going to ask you the $1,000,000 question, which is, what is partner dance connection, and how do you make that connection work with people and various people throughout the night?
Yeah, I would just say that approach it as the art of conversation. So when you learn to dance, you're learning a language, right? You're learning a new language. And in order to have a really good conversation, you need to be able to, you need to have the vocabulary, right? You need to be able to understand concepts that could be more concrete or more abstract. You need to know what you want to say. And you need to be able to listen to the other person, and hopefully they know what they want to say so that they can tell you clearly what they're thinking so that you can respond to it. So I don't know, maybe that seems a little disconnected from what dance is. But for me, really, why do I train? Why do I train on my own? Because I want to have the vocabulary to be able to speak this language. And to understand the language being spoken to me, right? You know how like during COVID time, during the pandemic, some of us like are cooped up in our houses, and we got out of the pandemic like forgetting how to talk. So it feels like this is a skill that you need to continue to sharpen, otherwise you lose it. So I would say like just simply, think of it as a conversation, and think of like, okay, remember when you have a really nice conversation with someone, what does that feel like? What do you do to get there? And apply that to dance. The art of conversation. I love that you use those terms, because we all as humans can improve on that daily. We may be very good at speaking, having a voice, but are we good with listening? Yes. Can we read the room? Can we read the environment? What needs to be said now versus what needs to be said later? These are all things that most likely we're not born with these specific skills. So partner dancing allows you to exercise these various language skills to increase your art of conversation on and off the dance floor. And to add to that, English is my second language. I moved here when I was 13. And for the first like 5-6 years I was in the States, I was so shy. And it's not because I'm a shy person, you know that. But it was because I have so much anxiety around my accent and my English that I felt I don't have my language, I don't have a voice. So I was just like, okay, if I don't say anything, it doesn't come out, people won't know that I can't speak English very well, right? It's better than saying something and then being laughed at. Or like the idea of being laughed at is so scary. So I think the moment that changed was when like I found a group of friends that really accepted me as who I was. And I just, like I can say something wrong And it could be funny in the moment, but it doesn't mean that they're laughing at me, they're laughing with me, right? And so changing that mindset really helped me to embrace like making mistakes, saying the wrong thing, having an accent, looking different, and still be comfortable in my skin to express what I feel.
Yeah, having an environment or a game or a community or a container where you're encouraged to give
Yes.
is really important. And I feel like, especially coming back to partner dancing, it's a room full of people giving.
Yeah.
Giving their
Oh, I love
energy,
that.
giving,
Yes.
giving their time,
Yeah.
giving their skills, giving their creativity to another partner if it's a partner dance. But at the same time, it's a room full of receiving too. And I feel like the best socials are where the dancers are in the mindset of like giving, giving more than receiving. And then when everyone has that mindset, ultimately you receive a lot as well.
Exactly. Yeah. It has to be both. Cannot be one or just one or the other.
Yeah. So when your friends encouraged you and allowed you to give your authentic self,
Yes.
it allowed you to do it, feel comfortable to do it. You gave,
Yeah.
and then they gave you some good energy back.
Yeah. Yeah. I was able to give my gift, right, to my friends because they allow me, they give me that space. Yeah. So I'm really thankful that I found my people. You know, I continue to find my people, you know. It's such a beautiful thing to like feel like, okay, I'm part of something bigger. I'm part of this community.
And the best partner dance scenes or socials have that same aspect, right?
Yeah.
You can come in at any level.
Yes.
Some people are better at the technical aspects of specific moves. Some people are better at musicality. Some people are just starting. Some people are champions. And they can all be in this space together and feel like they're able to give and receive at the same rate.
Yeah. If we look at the dance population, dancers have all, are, you know, from all kinds of background, right? You can be a teacher, a nurse, a techie person, a filmmaker, anything. Like anyone can dance, and anyone can be a part of this.
Any age, you can start young, start old. You can have limited movement abilities and play within your boundaries and your comfortability.
Yeah.
Or you can be someone who always goes for it and tries to push their limits all the time too. What are your, switching gears for a bit, what are your partner dance goals right now?
Oh, man. Okay. I feel like I have been so focused on community building for the last 2 years or so that I'm not really giving myself the time or permission to advance my dance skills. Well, it's also hard, right? Like I'm not trying to travel so much, and there are not that many classes here in LA that are offering like intermediate advanced level training. So it can be a little difficult to find those opportunities. But I would really like to go back to just training. Yeah, to being in that mode of training and setting goals for myself. Sometimes I used to train for Jack and Jill specifically, and not that I'm a very competitive person, but I do feel that it gives me something to work towards. So it motivates me to meet up with my friends, my peers, and you know, we set up goals and work around that. So I like to get back to more of that
Focusing
now.
as you as a dancer.
Yes, yeah.
What have you loved most about like the behind the scenes organizing?
Oh, what do I love most? I love when I organize something, people show up with like 2000% energy and wanting to give. Whatever I'm doing excites them to give back. That's a success for me. Like I feel, and I've seen this over and over again. You know, like I've organized events where I don't really ask people to bring anything, and they just show up with lights, with like readiness to set up things, all hands on deck, and without me asking. I think that's the thing that I enjoy the most. And then obviously seeing people have fun, seeing people truly having fun, smiling and dancing, all crying. Like I love when I see people cry as well, for good reasons. Like I've done that. A song comes on and I'm just like, oh my God, this connection is beautiful. It really touches this part of me, and I'm just letting it out. Like it's such a relief, catharsis, So love that. Love seeing all the emotions on the dance floor.
What are some challenges of organizing?
So many. We do live in a very capitalistic world that we need to think about finances, money, not losing money. So that's a big challenge. I think all organizers go into organizing because we love our community. We love what dance can offer. This is the arts, right? And the society that we live in now, we don't put a lot of attention or emphasis on the arts. So it's a big challenge. A big challenge to bridge the gap of like wanting to bring such a beautiful activity to the community in the most accessible way, but having to solve like the barriers to get there. Yeah.
And the reasons why people organize generally, hopefully, is to give back to the community, give back to the game, the community, the container that allowed you to have so much room to grow and expand and create yourself.
Yeah. What about you? What do you say your answer for that question would be? Actually, the last two questions.
Oh, not the good part?
The good part and the bad part. So what lights you up when you organize, and what breaks you down, I guess? What challenge you?
What lights me up? I love the live action aspect of it, where it's like, I think I use this analogy, even though I've never done this. It's like running a Broadway play.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of know what's going to happen. People are going to stand on a stage and sing, act, or dance. There will be people coming in. So you know kind of the mechanics of what's going to happen during the night, but how it happens is always different.
Yeah.
The people are always different. The DJs hopefully are always different and bring a different vibe every time. The attendees, some will be the same, some will be different. So I love being a part of the curation of that Broadway play happening. And I kind of get excited when something new happens, whether it's like something that's positive or something that's negative, because it's problem solving. It's real world interactions of like, okay, how do I solve this, or what's the best course of action? So it's like let me use the G word again. It's like another game, another aspect of the game of partner dancing that allows me to stretch and exercise other aspects of myself beyond dance adjacent. And then obviously seeing, like you mentioned, seeing the joy on people's faces when you put on a good event, and having people give you gratitude for hosting, and because most people know the time it takes to organize, plan, market these things. I'll say the challenges are, like you mentioned, economics is always number one. Having enough time, having enough fortitude to keep going during the times that you're feeling low or sick or out of energy. The pressures of having to keep doing something. Especially if you do something well, people want you to do it again, as it brings them joy. And and then I'd say the rewards, I guess. I feel like organizing Good question. Never thought about this. You're a good host. You should be interviewing me. I don't know. I think because I get to dance at these events too, not only am I curator, I'm a consumer. It's like a full day.
Yeah, it is.
When you organize and you say you have a live performance and DJs and teachers and attendees and food, and it's like you get to be a part of all the things that you want to be doing anyway.
Yeah.
It's all in this one event.
Yeah.
You see friends, but you see strangers. You see people who can become new friends. And then there's music, and there's dancing, and then there's talking, and there's story sharing.
Yeah, you put on the events that you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, you dream of a party that you want.
Yes.
And obviously, yeah, we're all limited by the locations that we live in and the economics and the studio, and you know, we can't have movie stars all the movie stars at your party. But it's a dream that becomes a reality in a certain sense, and you get to play in that reality.
It's so interesting that you mentioned the Broadway part of it, because I totally felt that when I put on my social last year. There was a thought that crossed my mind. I wish I was a stage designer. It just seemed like such a fun way of exploring creativity. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah. There's nothing else like it. A little deep question here. How has partner dancing affected your life?
Ooh.
Person.
You know, I would love to say that it has been only positive. But no, I don't think, we gotta be realistic, gotta give it to the people. I think I joined partner dancing at a time in my life that I was going through a lot of transition. I was going through a divorce at the time, and then, feeling like I have to be independent, being a real adult, and having dance in my life at that time really helped in a sense of like having support from the community. But it was also a time that I felt kind of lost in my life, and I think doing something that took my mind off of like the reality of life challenges was, how do I say? It helped me disconnect from my pain, but maybe a bit too much. So then it kind of disconnected me from reality. So I don't think this is uncommon, but I do see people using dance as a way of like escaping their realities. And I definitely was doing that a little bit in the beginning. Not a little bit, a lot bit. And then thankfully I found my way back, right?
Yeah.
Like I was able to ground myself, which is another funny thing because I remember when I started dancing, I was told that I'm too light. I need to be more grounded. And just by the act of practicing to be more grounded in dance, somehow I also got more grounded in real life. So that's nice. Good and bad, positive, negative.
Yeah.
You found your people, you found support, you found a purpose, not all purpose. But then you gotta be also careful, right? Because you do get this high, like so much endorphin, so much oxytocin. Things can be quite confusing, blurry, at times. So like having the skills to understand those parts and navigate is important. we unfortunately, dance is not like all happy all the time, right? You do have situations where there's like a power balance, power imbalance. There's like abuse. It's complicated, right? So being able to really realistically assess all of those things and make sure that you are in dance for the right reason is really important. And I think fortunately, I have learned a way to balance dance and life, other hobbies, and also like not use it as a way to escape all the time, but rather to use it to be more grounded in my daily life. I feel like I'm very fortunate to have found the people in my circle who helped me to get there, Yeah, but overall, I do think it's a positive net impact, a net positive. Yeah, just keep me so joyful, so young. Yeah, and I'm hoping, I'm planning on doing this forever, as long as I can. Yeah.
I love your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dance can be a distraction.
Yes.
Anything can be a distraction. Dance is an activity that you can immerse yourself in. It can be healthy or unhealthy, just like any other activity. And just finding the ways to make sure dance fits your life the way you want it to at the moment is key.
Yeah.
Just like any other activity.
Yeah.
For most of us, we can't necessarily dance and have dance be our living, and that's a different type of activity then. It's more of a hobby or escape or a diversion for most people. It's a great diversion in a lot of ways, but at the same time, you can go too far and spend too much money on this, and that. And while that can be great, is it really what you want and really what you need? Maybe. So it's trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
But whatever activity you do, it's going to affect you as a person, but not necessarily be your total identity.
Yeah.
Unless you want it to be. But yeah, it's a tricky balance.
Yeah, I think also another reason why I got into organizing is that is a picture of dance I want to paint, right? Like I want to have a healthy, sustainable dance scene. And it's because I don't want to burn out. Like as an organizer, as a dancer, I don't want to burn out. I want to keep doing this in a way that is sustainable, that I can keep up with, And so how do we make that a reality? Like what aspects of dance do we want to bring, and what are the things that we need to think about? What are the ingredients for a more connective, more positive community? So I'm sure you can speak to that as well, because I've been to your events and I see so many things that I would like to also, take and implement into my events. As a compliment, I love your events. The Fusion vibe. Whenever I go, it feels like coming home. Like people are so friendly. People look forward to be there, and it's such a nice feeling. Like maybe that day my body feels tired. I don't want to dance, but I still want to show up because of the people, because of the vibe.
Yeah, the people that matter the most. They're the essential ingredient that keeps people coming back to any activity, any community. And as a dance organizer, getting back to the game aspect, I feel like game is the theme of the episode today. You get to be a game designer.
Yeah.
You can create the levels
Yeah.
for other people to play. Deep, huh?
Yeah. I feel like we might have to make it into an actual game.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cool idea, very unique.
As you wrap up, for those who want to start the game of partner dancing, do you have any tips on what newbies should be trying to aim for, or some logistical tips?
Yeah, well, if you live in LA, the world is your oyster. You have every dance style, the best teachers that you can find anywhere. So the hardest thing to do is to start, right? Just to begin. I would say be open to make mistakes be open to be vulnerable, be open-minded, just be open. Yeah, things are gonna be really challenging. You might face some like existential questions along the way, but trying to find the fun in it, I think that's the most essential actually, is always look for things that make it fun and joyful. Like life is too short. There's no point of keep doing something that doesn't give you joy, right? So yeah, endure the challenges, face the challenge, but also make it fun. Like make it a game, make it fun, gamify it. Yeah, and maybe also do research like on the teachers, the schools, because the community really matters. Like the people really matter. If you come into a wrong environment, it can quickly make it difficult for you to start dancing. But if you find the right community, so easy.
Yeah, if you find the right game, the right genre of game, you can feel at home. And you have many lives too.
Yeah.
If you find a dance community or a dance that you don't like, you can try again, try a new dance or a new community. And like we mentioned, it's not a race to be the best and be the big boss at the end in 2 days. It's not a race. You can, at your time, at your tempo, figure out what dance you want to do and how you want to be a player of that game.
Yeah.
But
Choose your character.
samurai.
The capoeira.
And how do newbies keep it fun? How do they keep it a little light and playful?
Oof, what made it fun for me? I'm an extrovert. So it's not hard for me to like be out there and just be silly and connect with people. But I would say find something about the dance that you're trying that you really like whether it is movement or music, or maybe you find like a really fun social somewhere that you can just check out. Yeah, what else? I don't know. It's hard. Like it's so different for everyone. But for me, I definitely like the people, the music, the technicality. If I'm completely honest, I like the challenge. Yeah. So just find what it is that excites you in dancing. Yeah. Because if you're already thinking about starting dancing, there must be a reason. So find that reason and really like zero in on it. Yeah, and then go from there because it might change. So just embrace it.
Yeah. I think after choosing your player is logistically choosing and figuring out the music you love.
So important.
That will keep you in the dance.
Definitely.
Even though you're struggling to do that basic, or you feel like the music's too fast.
Yeah.
You think you never can do it. But if you love the music and you inherently love to move to it, it's probably something you'll stick with.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Music is important for the
So important.
Well, Lee, this was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was so nervous, but it actually went really well, I think.
Yeah, it went really, really well. You won this level. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I had a really good time.
Yeah. And thank you for watching this latest episode of Dance Brain, where we talk about the beauty of partner dancing. And we'll see you on the next episode.